reaction. Go ahead. That's stupid.
Shit.
Yeah, keep going.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really tiny, really small. I don't know how to communicate. I can't get any words out.
Okay, so that's the old behavior. You've seen it displayed. So now it's transparent. So now we're going to create a new behavior. All you need to do is anything different that allows you to put your foot down, take a stand. If you speak looking at this cycle of communication again, can we see it here in the camera yet? If we look at this again, one of the other interesting things about principle, example, application, if we look at it differently, is this. You can always be in a controversial situation with someone when someone's saying you're doing something wrong or I'm right. That's the relationship between the example, the I, the application, the you. But if you go into the we, the principle that allows you to be in a conversation or relationship at all, if you step above being talked down to, maybe there's something to think differently, say differently, or do differently than simply curse yourself, walk out feeling demoralized. Let's find out what she does. Seeing, hearing, and feeling, what shifts? Same communication from the boss, and let's notice what's different here. Ready, go. That's stupid.
Could you just please expand on that comment, because I'm not taking anything away from that.
Well, that's okay. We don't actually need to change it. So that's one way of saying it. We could.
Yeah,
so from that, what was different about that that allowed him to meet her like this rather than like that? What did that do? That feeling of give me more clarity, I need a takeaway.
She was calling him on it.
You're calling him on it, so you're meeting him equally rather than letting yourself be crushed. Okay, so instead of Godzilla stepping on someone and suddenly you don't exist anymore, you're stepping up. So we're finding different strategies. We'll do a different one. Yeah.
Well, it felt like just recognising that she thinks, just recognising that it may in fact be stupid, but that she's going to take the stance anyhow diffuses the whole situation of whether it's actually stupid or not.
Exactly. So you're stepping up to ask for more information.
It was like when you held your stance, you energetically told him, no, that's stupid.
Very good, Raj. Very good. Ben.
And also, as soon as he said it, he actually came back to him because he paused, and then it was like he had to actually start questioning himself. Whereas if he kept doing the old pattern, he just keeps getting away with running that story. But yeah, now you're putting it back on him.
Even when you're role playing it, you feel like I'm trying to take power, but you have to give me permission. And the second statement is leaving me permission to make.
So this is good. You stepped up. Now, let's not limit it to just one strategy. Let's kind of have one or two more so you're empowered with a few extra arrows in your quiver so you can be more able to meet him equally from now on. It's empowering, isn't it? Okay, the same exact communication from the boss and a slightly different response from you. That's stepping into your power. Go. That's stupid.
I appreciate that you have much more experience in the sector. However, in order for me to take away some learning, I need to know why it's stupid.
Okay, so similar, yet meeting even more respectfully at the beginning of that. I appreciate your point of view. One of the best ways to renegotiate a contract with someone is to meet them and honor what they have just told you, and then to offer to change in some way. You just did that. You offered a renegotiation so that he can either tell you or back off. It's very good. And we'll do one last one. That's stupid.
I appreciate that you have much more experience in this sector. However, for me to take anything away in learnings, I need to know why. And just saying that's stupid is really quite disempowering, demeaning.
Yeah.
It's quite demeaning.
Good. So you each time, you see what's happening here? You're going a little bit deeper. You're taking a little bit more of a chance to say more, to take a stand more, to share your wisdom and your own authority coming out more. We're all, look at all the nods from the audience. Look at people nodding. People are recognizing your authority. Thank you for being the boss. No longer need to be the boss. You're still standing up here. Now to receive feedback from those who saw, felt, and heard shifts that took place in empowering, nurturing, supportive ways, giving tangible, physical, measurable communication. What did you see, feel, and hear?
I felt that you took control of the conversation. He obviously said something very insulting about your work, but you decided to be the adult in the conversation in later phrases, and you placated his ego a little bit, like, you know, I understand you're smart and so forth. But give me something I can work with, and I thought that was being rational, was being sensible, being the adult, and more or less ignoring his comment. So it's very good.
It was like what happens when you're in a skid. The way to get out of the skid, if you avoid it, you go even more into the spin. The way to get out of the skid is to go deeper into the skid. You did that time. You embraced the conflict rather than avoided it, and by meeting it with equal force and intensity, it dissolved. It dissolved from your part because you had him have to answer to you. Suddenly, you reversed the situation. You feel empowered, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. All right. A couple more comments, a few more, and then we have a wrap up. Yes?
He who asks the question, or she who asks the question, is in control.
Interesting. Very interesting
He or
comment.
she who answers first loses.
Yep. Excellent.
One of the things that I noticed in the exchange, but from being up here and sitting down here and processing it, was you didn't corner me, even though I behaved inappropriately. You allowed me to escape with my, you know, safely, without feeling like I'd been wrong, even though clearly I had behaved inappropriately, which you know, made it actually feel safe for me to carry on and not have to defend myself. There was no stage up there that I feel like, oh, I'll tell you why it's playing stupid. No, I thought, all I felt standing there was just, I've let you down and I've let myself down and I'm not offering any value, and I immediately wanted to ascribe to your recommendation.
Beautiful.
What,
Lots of learning there.
what I am sensing of just judging by my manager is that, so he was saying this to us in front of other people like in a meeting, is if I was to then throw back the word the meaning to him, he might get challenged by that.
So what you did was, I say, appreciate, so it's a
Yeah.
different level of
Okay.
showing respect.
Yeah.
One more comment, and then we'll wrap up. A couple more comments, and then we'll wrap up.
I was just going to say, maybe the way to turn it around is to use what Keith mentioned here and just throw it back at him. Oh, really? That's interesting. Why do you say that?
Yeah.
Justify.
Well done.
Yeah, the first
Yes?
Well, one thing you can do to control that sort of antagonism is actually use it's in the language. You look up at someone or you look down at someone. So you're of shorter stature. So what you do, and muscle test this. You have a confident position and you look down at him from your posture.
That's interesting. Very interesting observation.
You can muscle test it. It physiologically impairs the person being challenged.
Fantastic feedback. Thank you, Keith. Yes, Mike.
The first example was, which I guess is a pattern, is it's like a dismissal. It's like there's no accountability in that. My guess is that would be a pattern for him of how he negotiates life without being challenged. And so even the fact you didn't walk away, you refused to be dismissed, you stayed engaged, forces him to be accountable. And it's going to break the pattern just even without saying it. It's fine.
Great to see the wisdom and authority coming from so many of you here today.
There's a definite impression that you came more, my visual feeling sense was you came out and filled yourself
You came
a lot
forward.
more energetically, like very bringing yourself into the presence. Whereas that wasn't the case before, so it would be I would imagine it'd be very easy for somebody to say you're stupid and be very dismissive because you weren't energetically there. And then when you stood up, you became very energetically there. And I think it'd be far harder for someone just to say dumbass things to you.
Thank you. Let's, before you sit down now, have you tell us what I learned here. What my takeaway is from this, my from now on I is,
From now on, I shall stand in my power, not be phased, take on board what is said, and ask for more clarification.
we're going to have one slight refinement there. Let's remove the word shall, because that implies distance between you and the goal. So you can point at that I am presence. From now on, I am in my power. Yeah. From now on, I am in my power. Yeah, am.
I am my power, so whenever I am challenged, I will ask for more clarification.
Notice the difference when you went from shall
I wasn't sure what
to
to
am.
say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, as you sit down to receive a wrap of what's happened, a wrap up.
Okay. Okay. I used to take 2 steps back when they called me stupid, but now I took away their permission. Now I've changed my mission. My name, Miss R. I step forward, I confront you right where you are. If you say something stupid, I won't listen for a minute. I'll ask for clarification. If you ever want to mess with me again, you'll find that I am dominant. Awesome amalgamation. This stuff won't last. In fact, it ends here. I am awesome. I am Radhika, the magnificent star.